today we will be looking at the UNISA Theory of Music Grade 2 paper. We are specifically looking at rhythm writing once more, and today we are looking at upbeats. So I have previously made 2 videos on rhythm writing for this grade before. One on the basics of rhythm writing and explaining how to get around this according to what UNISA would like us to know, and having a very surefire way of answering things. Then the other video looked at past paper examples from 4 consecutive past papers, and guess what? No upbeats. But today we are specifically going to look at upbeat examples, only 2, one in simple time, one in compound time, just so that you can practice this, listen to it, and prepare for your rhythm writing in case upbeats do come up. And whether or not they actually do come up in the exam, it's fruitful to know this for life. Now I know that by now you have good reading practice in upbeats. You understand what upbeats mean. You understand that if there is an upbeat bar at the beginning of an example, an extract, or your own music, that right at the end you will have a note value that is minus that upbeat value. But also it just means you're not starting on the main beat of your time signature, and it may not even be the main subdivision or a division of a rhythm. All that to say, we're going to practice writing it, because sometimes it is a bit more difficult to write than to recognize. So today we're looking at a 4/4 example and a 9/8 example, because hey, although the possibility that they will give you 9/8 is as minimalistic as them actually giving you an upbeat in the UNISA exam paper, 9/8 is a time signature that we become more familiar with in the grade 2 syllabus. So that's why I have chosen this for us today. So when looking at our 4/4 example, we do know and understand that right at the end, which is where we're going to start, is that we want a very long note. Now in 4/4, the longest note that we can have is a semi-brief. However, there is an upbeat bar of a crotchet. So the upbeat bar is not your first bar. Bar 1 will be that full bar of your total amount of beats that you can have in 4/4, which is 4 crotchet beats in a bar, and we do see that there. So that's our first bar. Second bar will be this, third bar will be this, fourth bar will be this. So our upbeat bar means that we have to minus that from our very last bar. So that means we can only have a dotted minim. So I'm going to put my dotted minim there. Our last note is sorted. Then we can phrase what they give us. So our phrase is sorted. However, what you'll notice is, yes, bar 3 is empty and we can just do a copy paste of bar 1 into bar 3. As you'll know from my previous videos, that is a beautiful way to do things. And it helps keep everything concise because you have something familiar and then something different and new at the end. However, you will notice because of this whole upbeat situation, bar 2 is now also not complete. But that also means you're going to copy paste the upbeat and bar 1 into the upbeat into bar 3. So what you're going to do is you're going to take that crotchet upbeat, put it over there, because this then forms part of your new phrase. Remember, you phrase their question, and now your answer, from wherever your answer is, you're going to phrase till the end. Now if their question started with an upbeat, your answer also needs to have an upbeat. If they put the upbeat there already for you, you know, good. Well done. You're going to then phrase from their upbeat to your answer at the end. But there's a reason they leave it blank, because you need to answer with that upbeat. So I'm answering with my upbeat. I'm copy pasting my upbeat and bar 1 into upbeat into bar 3. So that is what we're going to do. Not too crazy, and it makes a lot of sense logically, but it's something that you do need to practice. So there we have it, and I'm going to phrase. So today we'll actually use a melodic instrument. I see that I have placed myself on a G in the treble clef. So we're just thinking about rhythm, but I'm going to play this rhythm for you on the recorder so that you can hear it rhythmically, but also, there'll be a pitch. But that will be the basis of then what we do for our next grades. So this 4/4 example will go 1, 2, 3. Our answer. Great. And that does sound very nice and concise. So let us move to our 9/8 example. I'm going to put this little block flake down. So we of course know that we have 3 dotted crotchet beats in a bar. So that is basically what we know. So, okay. That means our final note would be a dotted minim tied to a dotted crotchet usually, right? But we have an upbeat of a single quaver, so that can't be the case now. We actually need to remove that dot so that it is a dotted minim tied to a crotchet without the quaver. Okay, so that is going to be our last note because of our little upbeat over here. And we know that it's an upbeat because, hey, that first thing is so small. It's not a full bar and it definitely doesn't have 3 dotted crotchets in it. So in 9/8 we know that this is the outlining of our beats, and this bar over here is the first bar that has that. So that is bar 1, okay? Then that means the second bar, the very next bar is bar 2. That means that's bar 3 and this is bar 4. Okay, so we can phrase what they give us. Yay, phrase. Perfect. Then we need to have our longest note value, minus the upbeat of course, in the last bar. And then we're going to copy paste our upbeat and bar 1 into upbeat, that's missing over there, and bar 3. So this bar only has a dotted crotchet there, a dotted crotchet there, and a crotchet. So we are missing the dot, so we're missing the upbeat to the next bar. So we can have that, and we'll copy paste bar 1 fully into bar 3. Perfect, then we phrase our answer, and that is that. So we basically have a phrase, we get a mark for the phrasing, and we get a mark for answering our upbeat into bar 3, and a mark for our last note. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this. This now I put in the bass clef just because, and it's on an E single space. So I will play that for us on bass recorder, and that will give us an audio example of this on a pitch, and it will also show how concise this method of copy pasting our upbeat and bar 1 into upbeat and bar 3 actually works for us, with our last note taking into consideration the upbeat right at the end. So let's play this extract. So this will sound 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Our answer. And there we have it. So this is a surefire way, whether or not we have pitches, to answer a given rhythm. This will also be the very foundation of answering a given melody later on, because when we add pitches, we must not forget that the rhythmic principle must also still align and still be there. So all the best with your preparation for your Theory of Music Grade 2 exam for the UNISA syllabus. And remember that UNISA does publish past papers as well as memos. So if you would like access to that, please look at the link in the description for the UNISA publications. And always remember to play from original sheet music and make your mark on original music resources.